An exciting morning to you, Summoners, as today is the start of the League of Legends Varsity League. My name is Hebang Vulcan Kim, and with me is Dominic Gisto Baat.
Yeah, and sobrang excited ako ngayon, Vulcan. And we have quite a lot of new things to talk about, of course. Like you said, today is the start of the 2018 LVL Spring Term. And with the new term, we have a brand new format that I do believe we have to start discussing now. Last term, we had a two-game series between all the teams. We're moving on and shifting into a brand new format where it's going to be a single round robin between all these teams. So yeah, why don't we go ahead and break that down? With the new single round robin format, we also have a new playoff format, meaning that 6 teams will now enter the playoffs.
It's actually exciting to see that the addition of 3 new teams entering the LVL this term is actually making the LVL more bigger and more competitive, as we say here in the caster decks. But one thing that I found very noticeable in particular was the changes and upgrade to the total prize pool of 130,000 pesos. So the champions will be receiving 80,000 pesos. First runner-up will be 30,000, and succeeding 2 ranks below will be 10,000 each. So this kind of makes it more than double than our previous term.
Yeah, that's one of the great changes to this term of the LVL. It makes things even more competitive, and we forgot to touch about this earlier, but yeah, like Vulcan mentioned, we have 3 new schools entering this term of the LVL, and I do believe, Vulcan, you would like to welcome these schools.
So we would like to welcome the 3 new schools entering the LVL 2018 spring term. Welcome Adams State University, Penguin Authority, Bulacan State University, Gosu X, De La Salle University, Veritas Arcus to the LVL. So let's hope you guys have a good run here. But moving on to our schedule for the first week of the LVL, the opening week, Chisto. Now we'll be seeing more of a reminiscent of the previous finals of our first term. The rematch, if you would say, of our finalists.
Yeah, and we were both there, Vulcan, at Glorieta 4. We got to see the live finals between UST Teletigers and TUP Monster Bell Prodigium. And they are our first match for today, so I'm very hyped for that. But I would like to touch on this as well. One of the new teams into the LVL, Bulacan State University GoSex, are going to make their debut later today.
Yes, with MCL. So that will be the schedule for the last game. So kind of something that you guys can look forward to. But Chisto, I mean, we talked about the finals live at Glorieta, but I think it's best to remind our summoners out there the historic moment where UST Teletigers were able to secure the first LVL champion. So congratulations to them. A bit of a recap of what happened in our first term. But as for TUP, I think they are hungry than ever, but I think we have some roster shakeups.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned roster shakeups because during the off-season, I should say, UST actually brought in some old players, some veterans, some old players of the Teletigers from previous terms of the collegiate scene. And as for TUP, in comparison to UST actually upgrading their roster, they lost some of their key players. And I think you'd say as well that both Asedian and Zao would be the standouts from TUP.
Oh, definitely. So when we saw their performance in the LVL finals, one of the players that actually I keep hearing the name being mentioned was Asidia, but unfortunately he will not be playing in our second term of the LVL. But at least this gives TUP more room to improve. Not just that, more to prove themselves, especially with a new roster. And now when we talked about the first game, TUP and UST, it's a small rematch, if you guys would say. And do you think it's going to be the same thing that we saw in the finals?
Oh, definitely it will be sort of a revenge thing for TUP because after UST took that Game 5 in that final, they'd want to exact their revenge on the first game for today. But while we're on the topic of TUP, I think it poses the question for us, how well will their team perform after losing 2 of their standout players?
And when you talked about the, what can I say, the standout players, if you would say, Chisto, something that you have to take account of. I mean, when you upgrade something, it's great that you're upgrading the components of something, let's say a team or a computer, but we have to take account how well will they work together. But here is actually some of our, actually a schedule of our first week of the LVL. Like we said before, the first match would be UST versus TUP. And later today, Gulsu versus MCL.
Yeah, later today, one of the new teams will make their debut, Bulacan State University GoSex. But going back to our first game for today, we kept talking about how TUP sort of lost some of their star power. Let's talk about UST for a second here. They actually brought in a new jungler to replace Babyface. His name is Sirius, and from what I can know, Vulcan, we have to watch out for this player because I checked his solo queue account. He actually has accounts in the top 50 of Challenger, and that's no easy feat to attain.
And when you talked about the UST improving their roster, the changes towards the LVL, but I think it's also worth noting the new teams coming into this LVL, maybe they can challenge UST's title. They are the defending champions. Maybe we'll see some shakeups, adding 3 new teams towards the 7 first pioneering schools.
Yeah, I think we could take the time to talk about the new teams, and you mentioned people who could challenge UST. Alam mo to, alam ni Arctic to na I'm really thinking that DLSU, one of the new schools entering this term of the LVL, might be one of the teams that can challenge UST for the top spot.
I think one player that stood out for me the most for Veritas Archer's side was, as we can both agree, Mirmo.
Yeah, Mirmo definitely one of the best players, and I think for some viewers out there, they might be wondering why is Mirmo going to be available for this LVL even though he was a pro player.
Oh, shed some light on that, Justo.
Yeah, according to the LVL rulings, actually, they only count pro players. They can only allow they allow players who didn't play the previous split, and even though Mirmo played in the final, he was an emergency sub-in for TNC during that final, so he wasn't technically considered a pro?
Well, to summarize what Chisto said, in short, Mirmo played as the emergency sub, but it does not mean he signed a legal contract stating that he would be a pro player for the PGS, which, rest in peace for the PGS. But now for Mirmo, playing for Veritas Arcade is something that I think our viewers can look forward to. I've seen his stream so far, and I think he's quite active in the community.
Yeah, I mean, we have to wait though until Veritas Arcade actually makes their
unfortunately. More of a recap of the, let's say, a reminder or something that our viewers can look forward to.
Yeah, but we touched on DLSU. We touched on both, so I think now we have to talk about the other new team, Adamson University Penguin Authority. Now, from what I can recall, they've been consistently making it into collegiate esports. They're very experienced in the scene, but now making the jump to the LVL. I think yung tanong sa atin, and for the viewers out there as well, is how good can they perform on the varsity level?
It's, I would say when you're talking about the varsity level, especially the settings of the LVL, there's more activeness in the community itself, not just the community, the players, but also the support coming from the schools. It's more active, it's more collaborative, if you would say. But for the LCL, more of, let's say, a couple of friends just playing the good game of League and then showing the other schools what they've got.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see if all that support can translate into a good run here into the LVL. So we've talked about the 3 new schools. Let's talk about the returning schools, for the 7 pioneering schools. And aside from TUP, I think every other team also sort of had roster changes except for AMA, the 3rd placers during last split. And you know, I'm really excited to see how well they can perform later on today.
Well, as we mentioned, the 7 first pioneering schools were UST, TUP, and also AMA QC, Retaliate Esports, returning for the LVL, the top 3 teams who made it to the playoffs. And AMA QC, they were so close in toppling TUP and making their name known in the stage of the finals. But in the end, TUP got on top and then they proceeded to the finals. But when you talk about the most improved teams, I would say was, I think we talked about this before, Chisto, somehow we saw improvements coming from FPU IT.
Yeah, I think some people would argue that it isn't FPU IT that's the most improved team, but in my personal opinion, I think they definitely stepped it up towards the later half of last term. So also looking out for how FIT can perform today.
And something that I really loved about the LVL first term was how the support staff, I would say the collaboration from the schools, it made it very memorable. And not just that, it's a great step forward for collegiate esports, if you would say. The first term was very successful, very competitive, but now, second term, let's hope for the best for the 3 new teams who kind of saw the spark in collegiate esports and wants to take away that spotlight.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned support staff, such as coaches and the like, and
the admins of the school also.
Yeah, and 2 more teams that I really want to talk about here with really standout coaches are both iAcademy and UP Diliman Oblation Esports, because both these teams' coaches have experience in the pro scene.
And when you talk about experience, especially support staff, it's an added bonus, but we have to see the results coming into the second term. I bet they want something to prove here as we move on to the opening week, and next week, maybe we'll see which schools will stand out. Once again, guys, this will be the first game proceeding soon as we will prepare for the drafting phase for our first game, TUP versus UST.
Yeah, and I think a lot of our questions will be answered today, especially since heading into the first week, a lot of roster shakeups. We had so many questions that we really needed to have answered. And once these teams start playing, once we see the results, then we'll find out.
But before that, Chisto, we have to actually pause here for now. We are experiencing some technical difficulties, so this will be Chisto and Vulcan signing up for now. But once we come back, we will resume the game 1, the drafting phase of TUP versus UST.
No matter how far we go, we end up here. Beasts raging beneath the framework, snapping at the cage. One instinct, one command. Hunt. We return.
is starting to slow. May the water be safe. As I dive, blood stains washing underneath the waves. I'll be reaching out to keep you safe. As we fall, I can't hold on much longer. We're drifting down to the other side. Try to pull us under. Keep holding out for the other side. Tell me where do I go? Tell me where do I take? Where do I go? Tell me where do I take? The heart stays slow. May the water be safe. As I go, as I go. Tell me where do I go? Tell me where do I take? Where do I go? Tell me where do I take? The heart stays slow. May the water be safe. As I go, as we fall, I can't hold on much longer. We're drifting down to the other side. Try to pull us under. Keep holding out for the other
There is beauty and tradition in the dance. Grace in every step. Power in every turn. Our dance is an honor to perform. And the last thing our enemies will ever see. We once danced in harmony with the land. Until the tyrants.
So now we'll be moving on to the drafting phase for UST Tigers and TUP Monstrumville Prodigium for our first match. The opening match. A great start, Chisto.
Yeah, let's see what these teams decide to bring to the table, because earlier we touched on these teams' rosters, and as you see here on the side of UST Tigers, they have a new jungler, Sirius, returning for their lineup. As for Monstrumville Prodigium, no more Za, no more Asidia. Let's see what they can bring into the table. Now, for the bans here coming from UST Tigers, it is Rakan Camille, and that Yasuo is actually a placeholder for the Kai'Sa ban, so not wanting to give that pick up over the TUP side.
And as for the summoners out there wondering what patch are we playing on, it's going to be patch 8.8, live on the servers for PH. So as for UST Teletigers, they will be banning out the Kai'Sa, which have been kind of, has a small adjustment.
Quick correction, we are 8.9 today.
8.9.
So mage changes, mana items.
Sorry about that, Chista. So I think that kind of recalls me why I said Kai'Sa and the mage item changes. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and looking at what's been denied here from the UST Teletigers is the Varus, Skarner, and Lulu. And for the first pick, looks like UST are going to jump on the Morgana pick, probably going into the support role, can be flexed into mid lane if they see a matchup that the Morgana is good into. As for TUP, they're jumping on Nami, definitely going into support. Trundle, a bit of a flex pick.
This is actually what I loved about the patch 8.9. The Graves, it's a small touch on the health stat, but still, this could be the start for maybe Graves to pop up again. Not to mention, in the previous patches, we did see a slight nerf onto the Ninja Tabi.
Yeah, I really like that Graves is slowly coming back into the meta. It gets kind of dull watching tanks in the jungle. I really miss seeing carries such as the Graves, Nidalee, probably Kindred in the future. But yeah, I really like that Graves is picked up here from the UST Teletigers. Now, on the side of Monstrum Vel Prodigium, we did say that the Trundle could be a flex pick, but with the Shen being locked in, we know that the Trundle is going into the jungle.
It will be the Shen in top lane, and now into our phase 2, it's actually going to be a speedy run for UST. They know what to ban, focus onto the mid lane here. Vladimir Azir has been removed from BAM. We did see BAM play these champions in the first term of our LVL, so no stranger, despite the patch progressing throughout the Season 8, we haven't seen much touches onto these champions, so UST just taking precautions.
Yeah, I know that you love how BAM plays this Azir Vogue. I know you get hyped whenever he has this champion, but UST will be denying that. They will be locking in their mid laner, which is the Anivia, and the Tank Sion for the top lane. And I do believe the Swain was locked in just to round out the rest of the draft from TUP. We'll get right back into that in a bit. So far, these teams going for a lot of power picks for this first game.
And as far as we saw at the last pick for UST side, I think it was the Sion being picked onto the Shen. And as for the ADC matchup, it's kind of a classic matchup, the Sion and Nami. We are seeing the return of the Nami, not to mention what I loved about the patch was the adjustment to the level 1 support. The Braum, the Janna, the ridiculous level 1 on the shield gives them so much AD.
Yeah, and talking about the picks that have been locked in, I want to go back and talk about Graves because I did say that carry, he's slowly coming back in the meta. It's really fun to watch carry junglers. As for the side of TUP, you have to ask them why they went for the Trundle, because normally we'd only see Trundle pick as a counter to something such as an Olaf or a Skarner. So it's very interesting why they decided to pick into this particular matchup.
And as for the matchup here, it's going to be again a short rematch. Kind of a rematch of the finals of the LVL 2018 summer term in the previous year. So what I think we saw in the support side, it was the Nami being picked onto TUP side. But onto viewing back the summary of the draft, it's going to be Sion in the top lane, followed by the Graves, as Chisto mentioned, and the Anivia, Tristana, and the Morgana.
Yeah, as for the UST Teletigers, their draft looks so good going into the late game. The Anivia will just deal absurd amounts of damage. The Graves and Tristana as well. But looks like we have to hold on as we load onto the Rift for Game 1. Let's kick off the LVL.
Let's kick it off for the opening week with UST Teletigers and TUP Monstrum Vel Prodigium giving us a treat as a mini rematch as we load up to the first match.
Is that a new chroma on Sion? The chroma actually looks very, very nice, but I think I like to take this time, Volker. Let's touch on TUP's draft this time. They've picked the Shen and the Swain, so it looks like they want to transition into a sort of 1-3-1 composition, try and get both these champions ahead, put them in a side lane, and then try to pressure the Teletigers with a bit of split push.
And as for Sion, at least we don't see anything change to the Sion, especially the fact that it kind of takes me way back before. Every time we see a Sion, we kind of get excited before. It kind of takes me back to the old days.
Yeah, I wonder though, will the Sion decide to go for the Banner of Command Rush?
That's what I've been wondering.
Which is very, very popular. That cannon minion can be very, very oppressive if he does go that route.
But they also have to be careful when they do go for the Banner of Command. They want to get that Baron buff. And note that the Baron is actually a bit tricky this time in our patch 8.9.
Yeah, let's go ahead and discuss that new Baron change. With the Baron's base HP being higher, it's going to be harder for teams to actually rush down that objective around the 20-minute mark because you won't have enough damage items to actually burn it down. So the setup will have to be a bit more delicate, especially for both these teams.
And not just that, it deals more damage. So when you're low on health, especially, not one single guy can tank everything. So they have to be very careful to decide, can we go for the Baron after they go for maybe an ace and be at a risk of getting wiped down in the pit?
Yeah, look at this though. Zet, after clearing his blue buff, immediately ran to the red side jungle of Sirius, but he wasn't able to find anything. And now he's moving straight towards his red buff. Sarah placed an early ward there, so I think they would know where the Trundle is. So that information is really key for UST and how they decide to play their lanes.
They have to be very careful when you're talking about Sirius, because this is a new guy playing in the LVL. They have to watch how he plays. Not much. This is actually his debut in the LVL, so eyes on him. Let's watch out what he can do on this Grace, returning into this patch.
Yeah, he is making his LVL debut, but he isn't a stranger to collegiate esports in general. He did play before for the UST Teletigers, but that was way back. So I think tinatanong pa rin natin, what can this guy do? We know he's top 50 challenger. We know this guy is good as we see an invade.
Sirius returning the favor to the Trundle, going for a scout in the red side of TUP. Looks like calls him some attention from Decim in the Shen. Forced to back up. The Scion just blocks him from responding, and I don't think they're giving up here just yet. The red side still being invaded by UST. Bam, landing that bind, going onto the Graves. The red buff being secured by the Trundle. Ice Pillar being placed, forces out the flash from the Graves. Now they're on the run. Flash in by Zed, low on health, and that is a beautiful first blood going to TUP. Not yet over. Can he connect the bind to get another kill? But in the end, forcing out a ghost from Sarah.
Yeah, a bit too greedy there by the new jungler of UST Teletigers. Now, the thought was great. The execution was not. They overstayed quite a bit. And with Zet securing that, it means that the Trundle will be able to at least even out the farm in terms of jungle. And, man, that was really a questionable decision because they overextended. Yeah.
It's a gutsy move by Sirius, but you gotta hand it to him. He tried to answer the Trundle for sneaking into his red side, but in the end, UST paid a heavy price, yes, but I think it's something that they have to face, and TUP looks like they're not shaking up just yet, but still, it's very early, Tristo, but the first blood went to
I think though.
Ooh, close call there. Dark Shield was there to try and deny some CC, but I think it's worth noting that we're seeing an unsealed spellbook on the Anivia side.
Yeah, there is a change. It's actually been reworked for patch 8.9. It feels more like a spellbook now, actually, where you get to swap out between unique summoner spells, and it can be a bit tricky to use. I mean, I myself have tried using this keystone.
Different combos you can think of.
Yeah, there are a lot of cheese things you could do. But yeah, let's see though what summoner spell Sarah decides to take throughout this game.
I guess for our viewers out there, you gotta watch out for the summoners. Bigla, why is Sarah teleporting to the top or the bot? Because he has the spell book, which he can just switch out outside the base.
Yeah, we won't see that for quite a bit though, Vulcan, because looking at UST Teletigers comps, they want to scale. They want to get the Tristana to 2 to 3 items. They want to get Anivia a large enough mana pool in order to operate throughout these fights. The late game is looking very, very huge as a win condition for the Teletigers. And I think that means that TUP, they're sort of playing on a timer here. They can't get outscaled and by UST.
Yeah, and as far as I can recall, when it comes to the tier changes, it's kind of unfortunate for Anivia, the Manhunger champions, but this can potentially be an advantage for TUP, as we are seeing right now in the top lane. Cell is forced to back up just for a while. The minions are not in his favor, but I think the attention right now is, Seth. Control ward and one vision in the red side of UST Teletigers.
Yeah, Zed has been really proactive with his invades. Now he's moving towards the mid lane. Sarah is level 6, but he's very deep in the lane.
He has his passive, he has the flash. Wall been placed to try and stop Zed. He cannot go back to the tower. Out of range, he will just hold on to his flash. Calls in the help. Telber coming in. Can Sirius and Cell do something here? The channel will happen, but nothing will be in favor for UST.
Ooh, a teleport burned by Cell. A teleport and nothing really for the side of the UST Teletigers. Sarah, he had his flash, but he wasn't respecting the fact that the Trundle could have easily snuck up behind him. So a great gank there by TUP nets them another kill onto this Trundle. So far, the pick has been working out.
It's kind of unfortunate that the changes for the tier does not guarantee that much safety, especially on Nivea this early on. And not to mention, Chisto, I think it's worth noting that we're seeing the minion dematerializer, and in this meta, we can all agree mid priority is key. I think that's why we're seeing the Swain in this meta.
Yeah, the Swain will have more tools to push the lane early against the Nivea, I believe, but yeah, I think it's good that they're punishing the weaker early game champions that UST have. TUP, like I mentioned earlier, are playing on a bit of a timer here, so they need to get ahead early. They need to get their solo lanes ahead so that they can set up for the 1-3-1, pressure UST with split push.
And now the kill score is 0-2. We are approaching our 8-minute mark as UST Tail Tiger is still struggling to try and keep up the pace of TUP. Close call there for Sarah. He cannot afford another death. Vision is kind of dark in the side of Sarah. The focus right now is really in the mid lane. But as we saw before in the top and the bot lane, not much action is happening here as we are seeing in the top lane. Sarah and Decim just waiting out for their ultimates. Right now, level 7.
6 though.
Yes, you have to be very careful. Note that Decim is level 7. The Stand United has been unlocked and available to be used.
We might see it here.
The thought won't connect, but Sarah's trying to work some way here. Sarah doing a lot of damage with the AoE stun, and that would be a pillar placed there to try and slow down Sears. In the end, Sears knocks him back here, and Cell dead on the spot, hitting Bam, low on health, going to the chase to the red side. They're not giving up just yet. Low on health, pops the Dark Ascension, regenerating health, and that's going to be Sears picking up a kill onto Zed. The knockoff will connect, but it actually signals Cell to go back. A trade here happening for Bam, not backing up just yet. In the end, it's a 2-for-0 trade. UST fighting back.
Yeah, the wall will disengage that fight, but TUP, they took a fight in UST's jungle and they did not respect Sirius being level 6. The Trundle was only level 5, no subjugate to actually give him that extra tankiness that they might have needed. And this Stand United not being used as a global, that's one less ultimate that they were able to use. So UST, with a great response, are able to get 2 kills onto this Graves, and that is big for Sirius.
An instant jump back into this game, if you would say, with the GOAT lead at 14,000 to 13,000. Oh, slight advantage for UST, but still, TUP not gonna have it. They do have not much action actually happening in the bot lane.
Yeah, I think bot lane's the least interactive lane now. Both AD carriers just happy to keep farming here, and with the Morgana and the Nami really, if the Tristana tries to go aggressive, the Nami can always disengage the fight, heal the AD carry, and if TUP wants to go aggressive, Black Shield just says nope. So basically, no action bot lanes, just watch the top half of the map. Until these AD carries hit 2 to 3 items, we won't see them joining that many fights.
And as far as I can recall, Spiegel will be playing into the bot lane as Uomi as the support, but now Sarah making his slow approach towards...
It is spotted though. There is a ward right over
that wall.
Yeah.
So, a warning signal?
Yeah, like I mentioned, bot lane will be very non-interactive until these AD carries hit 2 to 3 items.
Ooh.
Let's watch top lane though, tanks battling.
That's going to be a deny the Q, trying to just, control the waves here as we're seeing more action in the mid lane. As, what's this? Bam and Zed. Trying to start something here, waiting for a CC perhaps to be connected from the Swain that can topple up there. But knowing that the first Drake is Infernal, you can play the teams for really trying to take control here.
You're actually looking, you mentioned CC, right, Vulcan? It's actually incredibly difficult for TUP to start fights here. They don't have that one large engage tool. It's always about a taunt landing, a pillar locking someone away, or the never move landing from swing. They don't have those big Scion ultimates that could really start fights, as the Infernal Drake is being started here by TUP. I think UST have a bit of an idea, but... Oh, actually, no, they're going for a bot lane play.
Flash in by Omen to try and set up the clash for UST. TUP has been binded under the tower. Calls in the help here from the Shen. No casualties here as TUP, after the Infernal, the Trundle is now going towards the bot lane with the Ice Pillar Slow. Block gets blocked by Sarah's wall, and now Bam making the approach with the Dark Ascension. May go for a tower dive here. Will the bind connect? No. Unfortunate for TUP. No kills there, but at least they have snuck in that Infernal Drake.
Yeah, the fight ends there, but like I mentioned, even though TUP don't have that engage tool, it doesn't matter if the UST Teletigers are running straight at them. With the Stand United, they're able to turn the fight, and they even get the Infernal Drake while all of that was happening. TUP just winning out on that trade.
The fact that we saw the decisive, I would say, Anivia wall to stop that Trundle for closing in with a frozen domain. The ice pillar was there, so I think that was a disengage coming from UST. They do not anticipate that fast response coming from TUP's side.
Yeah, and you always have to take into account, Vulcan, that there's two globals from the solo lanes of TUP. So even if Sarah roams down to the bot lane, if Bam has teleport, he can instantly collapse. The Shen will have Stand Unite, also has teleport. And UST, they did take these into account, but I think they just didn't know that they didn't know that TUP could have easily responded.
And they didn't know that the Infernal Drake was being started by Zed. So the Trundle was there for the quick response. In the end, at least now we're seeing a shift in attention onto the bot lane.
Yeah, kills are good, but until we see a large objective such as a tower being taken here, I don't think champions will move around the map yet. Looks like lane phase will be extended for a bit here. Never move.
Oh, it's a trade-off there, but it's going to be a losing streak for Sarah as we're seeing Bam just clearing out the wave more effectively than Sarah, as in Bam. So the next rig will be the Cloud Drake as we are approaching the 30-minute mark here. Kill score is 2-3 as TUP still in the fighting here. Not much of a definitive lead. I think from that clash, we did see a small shift, especially I think we can look at the CS that's happening here, especially the Graves.
Yeah, the Graves will definitely out-farm the Trundle here. The Trundle more of a... It's focused more on trying to respond and secure objectives, whereas Sirius has been power farming on this champion. And I think we have a small window now where UST can actually go for plays, considering that the globals are down.
Close call by Cell. What a drip. The Ice Pillar was there to try and stop his ultimate. But I guess Cell is showing confidence here in the top lane that you can't catch me just yet as the ultimate has been burnt. But worth noting that for Cell, finished the Banner of Command. The first item here immediately rushed, followed by a CS lead over the Shen due to the fact that the Shen was forced to respawn towards the bot lane with the Stand United.
Yeah, I mean, Banner of Command on Sion will mean that his lane will always be pushing. Shen can clear that out. Even though it takes quite a bit of time, he will still be able to, as he does deal a bit of physical damage with the Tiamat in his item build. So I think Decim would be very, very comfortable there, trying to match up Bios.
He does have the Tiamat and the Bami Sinner for that extra wave clear to try and match Cell Sion. I mean, simple combo for the Sion can immediately clear out the waves, plus he will scale with health. So quite stalemate in the top lane. No kills will happening. It's more about kill participation. And the Shen does have the advantage there.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next big play though. Like I mentioned, when the globals are down for TUP, that's the window that UST can play around, but we haven't seen them make a proactive move, possibly towards the bot lane once again, because it's only Stand United available. There's still no teleport for Bam. If UST waits this out and then creates a play once the globals are up, they might get punished once again by TUP.
Pings here and there around the map. We're seeing the Trundle approaching towards the top lane. Zed, can he do something here? But in the end, he'll just show himself, giving information to the Teletigers. Ultimate from Cell, not yet available. Quite quarter to the cooldown, so we won't be seeing that much action.
Yeah, I think the reason why Zed decided to move towards the top lane is to help Decim clear out that Banner of Command minion. The Trundle will help take that down, relieve some of the pressure being applied to his top laner.
And effectively trying to funnel down the Shen into his own lane, chain him down so that if he ever does respond with a Stand United, they may pay a hefty price with the first turret still at stake here.
Yeah, first turret definitely could go down soon. Looking at the junglers though, Sirius has made his way towards the top side. They might want to make a play onto the Shen, and that's smart because Shen can't Stand United himself. There's nobody to respond. If he does overextend here, it looks like he has snuffed this out. He's playing very back in the lane.
And Baam is trying his best to scout out the red side. Where is Sirius? That's the question for TUP. Before he can play something aggressive here, I think he may go all in here as he will be popping the Dark Ascension, chasing down Sarah. Low on mana, tries to stop him with a wall, and there's the slow there. And quite the dodge there by Sarah, and a flash in. Oh, another flash out by Sarah. Reactive flashes here and there. Looks like Sarah does dodge the bind.
Bot lane, though.
And now in the bot lane, calls in the strand. Standing line coming to Zed does survive, but in the end gets popped by a Spiegel. That'll be a trade, 1-for-1. The Zayat took down the Morgana, but now they can go for a tower there. And Spiegel just get chunked by the Zayat. And now from the backline, we saw Cell with a Zayat going in with the unstoppable, and Cell took down Navi, and now he's still alive, going on to Miko. That's going to be Navi. Navi lower health, but in the heal, the ebb and flow will be the killing blow, as Sirius can't do anything here. But the passive of the Cell, passive of the Zayat, you can't ignore that. And now Graves, can he go for a cleanup? But no, sadly, the sustain is there, plus a double kill going to the Nami.
In the end, it's actually the support picking up the 2 kills to end that fight. Even though that fight did go in favor of TUP, UST, Sarah, he did not collapse. That means he was able to take down the mid lane outer turret for the first turret of the game. Now, let's go ahead and look at the replay of this fight. Spiegel so aggressive, jumping towards that bush. TUP actually started this fight. Instead of using the Stand United to respond to aggression from UST, they use it for an aggressive move of their own. Now, what I'm really waiting for is, look at the Sion here. He comes in, look at the damage onto Miko. But without a Spiegel in this
Great
fight,
Q.
there's nobody to really deal that finishing blow onto the members of TUP. Sirius was too low to try and end this fight in favor of UST.
And unfortunately for Nav, he did use his flash to try and secure the kill. Again, burned that escape, and when the Q was being laid on the ground, he was kind of he was stuck in a position. So quite unfortunate that he did not have his flash there. Can change the outcome for TUP there, but in the end, for UST, they fought back, respond to the dive of TUP with a kill score to 5-7.
Yeah, TUP, they did win that fight, Vulcan, but they weren't able to get any meaningful objectives from it. UST, they took the first tower, and they also took the next dragon of the game. They have secured the Cloud Drake for themselves. TUP need to start picking up objectives.
But I guess for UST, they're happy with it. They took down the first turret of the game, and now this is going to be another pincer in the bot lane. Here comes the tidal wave, gets the knock connecting onto Uomi, gets chunked down again. What a collapse from TUP.
Yeah, they burned right through the Black Shield, and Morgana not able to deny that CC. Uomi not having the best game here. It's already 0-3-2, and I think with the support down, TUP are gonna take this bot outer turret.
Will try to match the third score there, and the gold lead will kind of be in favor of still on TUP, rather on UST side. TUP is still catching up slowly, but top lane looks at risk here as Sarah and Cell will just collapse onto Decim under his tower and forced to give the second turret towards the UST Tele Tigers.
Yeah, that's a nice CC chain there. Perfectly executed. The point blank Sion ult, it's very difficult to miss that ability. It will mean the tower. There's already a lot of chip damage on it. That's why they were instantly able to take it down. Turret score now is 2-1, so the global gold is in favor of UST.
And now, the Baron Cristo will be live in 30 seconds, and I want to see how the teams will set up around this Baron, because teams who set up so well around the pit, they have the advantage in this match.
Yeah, and I think we touched on this earlier, where the Baron is harder to take down early because of the higher base health on it. UST might want to wait a bit more until they actually go onto that objective. They will be setting up for it, but I don't see them taking it around 20-22 minutes, even though they could possibly go for it now. Bot lane outer turret is under fire. I don't think the Shen can defend this alone. Yeah, nope.
And it's a Tristana, so with a breeze, UST will be taking away their third turret of this game, as mid lane seems interesting, but I'm getting a lot of damage. Okay, now the Navia feels more confident in this game.
Yeah, after all those outer turrets going down, the map has really opened up here for both teams, really. TUP, though, are going to respond. Gonna chomp down the top tower. 3-2, though. It's gonna be very hard for TUP to break the mid lane tower because Anivia deals a lot of wave here, but hold on.
Ooh, the max Q will channel there, followed up by the CC chain onto Cell by the side, trying to focus onto Miko. The standing line has been there on the Nami. Will he survive? Yes, it does. Here comes Decim for the help. And now we're seeing Zed focusing on his Spiegel and forced to get to the face there by the Tristana. And now Sarah and the members of UST collapsing onto the Tribush and now forcing TUP to just crumble as UST will force this cleanup, as we are seeing Sirius and his Spiegel still alive and healthy. There's the Q, there's the Lung to try and control the fight, but this guy just won't die as Bound finally gets taken down.
That was a great fight by the UST Teletigers. They were able to constantly reset the fight with the Anivil. Are they going to go for the Baron Vulcan? I think they can.
Let's see how it will happen here for UST. Look at the damage. Look at the health. But now we are seeing Zed coming back from Cotton. I think this will be a safe Baron for UST.
There's nobody here from TUP to challenge us. I did say that they might not take the Baron, but after that team... Oh, they're trying to challenge. This might be too late.
They're at a risk here. Can something happen here as we are seeing Seraph again with that wall, just cutting off Desert?
Oh man, UST, after that team fight, instantly transitions into that Baron, and that is a massive win for them. We mentioned TUP, they were playing on a timer. They needed to be ahead. They needed to set up for the 1v1 split push so that they can win. But now UST, they just have this Baron buff, which could be their bridge towards scaling towards the late game.
And they have to be very careful because we know that Cell has the banner of command, so UST will just pace down the mid lane. As for TUP, they don't have any minion dematerializer available, so they have to be quick. They have to prevent from UST from setting up in front of their faces.
Yeah, they got a consolation prize in the mid lane outer turret of UST though. Now,
Try to stop them. Try to stop them.
the question is, how will TUP stop this siege coming from the UST Teletigers? Because the way you stop sieges is with an engage.
Flash.
Oh, the flash in!
That's one way to engage. Plus over the wall, subjugate onto a speaker, trying to get a chomp damage there to try and deny some AD. But in the end, they overcommit, trying to disengage with the tidal wave. But that won't be enough as Cell just rams down onto the tower, leading the charge of the tower dive for UST. This is going to be an ace maybe, as Decim will be the last one standing. And this is going to be TUP and UST just mowing down the base.
I do believe this will be an inevitable 5-0 in favor of the UST Teletigers. I did say that one of the weaknesses of TUP's comp is their lack of engage, and it shows right there. The Trundle was forced to flash over the wall just to try and stop the siege, but it results in the death of his entire team. Now Baron buff, Tristana and Evia, they can easily take down all of these towers standing in front of them all the way till the inhibitor.
And this is big because, as we said before, and as Chisto said, TUP lacked that engage. So they try to work around, they try to do something with the resources they have. They only thought of Zed flashing over that wall, laying down the ice pillar, but forgot that the Tristana is somehow of a champion. You need hard CC to lock down.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Vulcan. They had to do it. They had to do something to stop the siege because they would have bled towers, but they get absolutely punished for what they tried to do now. TUP, they're in a very difficult spot here. Gonna try and hold on for as long as they can.
And then Mountain Drink is live right now as UST has secured 6 turrets total. They even took down the inhibitor.
Yeah, that's a massive Baron play coming from UST. They picked up 5 kills. They barreled down the mid lane. Now, the wise choice would be to put a Banner of Command minion in top lane or bot lane and then move the entire team to the other opposite side so that they can go for a push.
The Baron buff is still good for quarter. I mean, it's half duration. Right now, we can see it onto a series side. They can still use it. Maybe another Baron play in another lane. Maybe they're eyeing for the bot lane because we're seeing the members setting up here, pings here and there. Yes, the next siege will be now on the bot lane inhibitor turret.
Yeah, I wonder if TUP can actually find a fight here, Vulcan, because they are slowly running out of options to answer what UST is bringing towards them. Look at this, the Anivia can instantly clear the wave, and the Tristana will deal absurd amount of damage on this tower.
A lot of CC locked down onto the Swain, but that won't be enough for UST to be
There's just no answer.
They're just going for a ram here as TUP. They need to decide what are they going to do as the second inhibitor has been taking down. Stun connect until he's not surviving here. Forced to call in the Stun United Shield. And that's gonna be it, I think, for UST as they have so much damage and TUP can't do anything to stop the Baron play from the Teletigers as we are seeing for the opening wave of the LVL, UST securing this first game.
They got a Spiegel though. I wonder, Navi is still alive. They can stall, but there's still damage onto the towers.
Oh, this is quite difficult. Will this be an end though? Because I don't think... Wait, TUP is still standing strong. They're not stopping just yet. Oh, Navi trying to defend the incoming waves of the minions and the Baron. Wow. I'll take that back. Looks like the Baron expired at the moment that UST needed it the most, and TUP great defense, just forcing back UST.
Yeah, with the Spiegel going down, I think UST has to back off here, but I think the damage has been done, Vulcan. They were able to take down one Nexus Tower, 2 inhibitors now down. The option here for UST is to just barrel down top lane and take the final inhibitor from TUP, but it looks like TUP were able to hold on, but for how long can they do this? They need miracles, but we're gonna go ahead and look at the replay of this fight. This is UST just brute forcing here. They want to end the game, that's why they go super aggressive, but I think Spiegel just goes too far forward here. They could have gone for towers, but I think Spiegel just gets chunked a bit too much. Towers actually hitting them, and there was a big crit onto him by Navi, and that stops the game from ending.
That should have been an end for UST, but looks like overcommitment from Spiegel will not let that happen, because I actually thought that the game may have ended, but looks like for UST, now they're shifting their attention towards the top lane as 2 inhibitors have been destroyed. Oh, great flash from Uomi to try and deny the thought. The Black Shield was there to just in case as the Tunnel Way has been used. Can they force a fight here as Spiegel is the focus? Oh, he's been rooted down, but in the nick of time, uses that rocket jump.
Yeah, that's very annoying to deal with when you don't have that hard CC, and Tristana can easily jump away. She can buffer her rocket jump if she gets CC'd so that she still jumps away. Oh, speaking of hard CC.
If they lose the Zaya, TUP will lose one of their key damage, and I think they're going to run it down mid. Oh!
Wait, that's his own team?
It's kind of a call off there by the individual. I think for Sarah does not want to engage under the tower, as we are seeing the minions are flooding into the base as 2 lanes have been destroyed. Super minions flooding in now for TUP. What they can do here. Bao trying to find the right time here as Navi just chunking down Sirius, but the inhibitor is the focus for UST.
Let's see though, TUP are going to try to go for a fight here to defend.
They're focusing on the cell. That's the bubble onto Spiegel. The focus right now is on the Spiegel and Sirius, but I don't think they can just push. They cannot pierce the front line of UST as, again, this will be the end. As an ace happens for the Tigers and TUP. No members left to defend.
Sarah just absolutely deletes the carries of TUP, and that means that there's not going to be any revenge here for TUP. UST going to take the first game of this term.
And at 40, this is still the group stages. We still have the next format, the playoffs and the finals. So for TUP, I think this could be the start to gauge their skill and improve as the group stages goes by.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and digest that game real quick here, Vulcan. I do believe that the turning point, the largest breaking point of that game would be UST winning that team fight top lane and then transitioning that into the Baron, because there was nothing that TUP could do once UST got that Baron buff.
And not just that, what I loved most about that game was effectively we saw how UST, after the sweep from the blue side going straight from the Baron, I thought that the Baron would be something challenging, but when at the right elements, with the right time, they can still go for it without any fear.
Yeah, I mean, what matters is proper setting up when there are no enemies on the map to challenge your Baron. So of course, congratulations once again to the Tigers, proving why they are the defending champions, taking their first game of this term against TUP. But speaking of TUP, they are in action in our next game for today up against AMA Clash Masters, so that is coming up for you guys.
So with that said, guys, this is going to be me, Chisto, Vulcan, and Chisto signing off for now for our first match. See you for match 2, TUP Monster Real Prodigium versus AMA QC Clash Masters. As TUP, after the Inferno, the Trundle is not going towards the top lane with the Ice Stroke. Block gets blocked by Sarah's wall, and now bam, making the approach with the Dark Ascension. May go for a tower dive here. Will the bind connect? No. Unfortunate for you, TUP. No kills there, but at least they have snuck down that Inferno. And now in the bot lane, calls in the Strand. Standing right coming to set, does survive, but in the end gets popped by a Spiegel. That'll be a trade, 1-for-1. The Zaya took down the Morgana, but now they can go for a tower. And Spiegel just get chopped by the Zaya. And now from the backline, we saw Sal with a Zaya going in, but it's unstoppable, and Sal took down Navi, and now he's still alive, going on to Miko. That's going to be Navi. Navi lower health, but in the heal, the Evan Pro will be the killing blow as Sirius can't do anything here. But the passive of the Cell, passive of the Zion, you can't ignore that. And now Graves, can he go for a cleanup? But no, sadly, yes it does. Here comes Destin for the help. And now we're seeing Seth focusing on the Spiegel and forced to get to the face there by the Tristana. And now Sarah and the members of UST collapsing onto the Tribush, and now forcing TUP to just crumble as UST will force this cleanup as we are seeing Sirius and Spiegel still alive and healthy. There's the Q, there's the Lung to try and control the fight, but this guy just won't die as Bound finally gets taken down.
That was a great
Engage, plus
fight.
over the wall, subjugate onto a speaker, trying to get a chomp damage there to try and deny some AD, but in the end they overcommit, trying to disengage with the tidal wave, but that won't be enough as Cell just rams down onto the tower, leading the charge of the tower net for UST. This is going to be an ace maybe, as Tessa will be the last one standing, and this is going to be TUP and UST just mowing down the base. Surviving here, forced to call in the Stagger and Shield, and that's going to be it, I think, for UST, as they have so much damage, and TUP can't do anything to stop the Baron Blades from the Teletigers, as we are seeing for the opening wave of the LVL, UST securing this first game.
They got a Spiegel though. I wonder, Navi is still alive. They can stall, but there's still damage onto the towers.
Oh, this is quite difficult. Will this be an end though? Because I don't think... Wait, TUP is still standing strong. They're not stopping just yet. Oh, Navi trying to defend the incoming wave of the minions and the Baron. Wow. I'll take that back. Looks like the Baron expired. I'm trying to find the right time here as Navi just chunking down Sirius, but the inhibitor is the focus for UST.
Let's see though, TUP are gonna try to go for a fight here to defend.
They're focusing on the Cell. That's the bubble onto the speaker. The focus right now is on the speaker and Sirius, but I don't think they can just push. They cannot pierce the front line of UST, as again, this will be the end. As an ace happens for the Teletigers and TUP. No members left to defend.
Sarah just absolutely deletes the carries of TUP, and that means that there's not going to be any revenge.
Our thoughts are